Hey everyone, so today's DIY video is going to be for those of you who have always been curious about eyelets and hole punches. So what I have here in front of me is a faux leather corset that I ordered on Amazon. No, eBay, I'm sorry, eBay. And it arrived, it fits nicely. However, it seemed a little loose in the chest area, and those of you who know me know I'm pretty modest. I don't like my chest to be the center of attention. So I wanted it to be a little more snug across the chest area and not so like loose and open, just so that I don't have to worry about my undergarments showing. So, as you can see, there are eyelets on these straps on the front of the corset, and there's a zipper underneath, by the way. Eyelets and buckles on the front. And up here at the top, I already went ahead and added 2 eyelets going towards the not eyeletted side of the strap. Down here at the bottom, you can see what the straps originally looked like. You can see there's only 4 eyelets, and then this big empty space over here, which is, I guess, fine for those of us who don't want things to be tighter. I want things to be a little bit tighter, because this is a little big on me. But so anyhow, first I'm going to explain my tools and my materials today, and how to use them. This is a very simple and inexpensive eyelet punch / snap applier, or snap applicator. I'm not really sure. Snap pliers. I don't know what it's called. I don't know. It's for snaps and eyelets. And usually when you buy these things, they come with like a little set of thingamajigs and attachments that go with them and on them, as you can see here. And they'll come with a set of instructions telling you exactly how to install the little attachments and what they're used for, and how to take care of them. You'll see some of that in this video. But these little attachments are actually for this eyelet machine thing, pliers, applicator, applier, I'm not sure what you call it. But anyway, as you can see here, I've been using this one to punch the holes for the eyelets, and this one to actually install the eyelets. And the reason I do that is because fiddling around with changing out your little attachments and whatnot can be a huge pain in the backside, especially if you're trying to work quickly and you just want to get the project done. So that's why I have more than one tool. I have one set up so that I can punch a hole, and then the other one set up so I can just go and do the eyelets. So that having been said, I'm going to set these aside for a second. I'm just going to let you take a look at the punching tool. As you can see there, you can see like this little cone shape goes into that hole there, and you give it a good squeeze and it will actually punch a very small hole. But it's not so small that one of these little guys, I don't know if you can see that, that is an unpunched eyelet. That is what an eyelet looks like before it is actually applied onto a piece of fabric, or onto a piece of vinyl, or what have you. It looks like a little hat, except it's hollow. And so actually what happens is when you go to punch it on, basically you go to punch it on, this little part, this top of the top hat area gets curled downwards, and it looks kind of like a bird nest, or like an eyelet. And these are 1/4 inch eyelets I'm working with today. And here's my little baggie of eyelets. These were extremely cheap, and they're not that really good a quality, but you know, if you just want to get something done, and for something you're only going to wear for a few hours, maybe twice a year, if that even, then they get the job done just fine. I think I got like 150 of them or 200 of them for like $1. They're really cheap. So, and they're the closest thing I have that actually somewhat matches the eyelets that are already on this garment. Once again, they are, oh no wait, 1/8 of an inch, I'm sorry, that's wrong. 1/8 of an inch. So, when you're about to start working on your project, you have your eyelets ready, you have your hole punches, and your eyelet pliers. I'm just going to call them pliers. You might want to have some kind of small container like this ready and set up so that you don't have to dig your fingers around inside of a baggie every single time you want an eyelet, and also to keep them contained so they're not rolling onto the floor, because if one of these things gets lost and you end up stepping on it in your bare feet, they really, really hurt. So you want to keep them contained. And also you want to keep all your little parts and pieces from your eyelet pliers and snap punches and all that stuff contained as well, so they don't get lost, because you are going to need them at some point. So, alright, they're in their baggie, and I'm going to just seal it up, and I'm going to lay it aside like so. So, I'm going to zoom in, hopefully, so you can see what I'm up to. Oop, wrong way. Sorry. There we go. So, as you can see here, you can tell the difference between my eyelets that I've put in and the ones that came from the factory. The ones from the factory are slightly higher quality and were probably put in by a machine, not by a person with one of these. So, you gotta kind of forgive yourself if your eyelets don't look as perfect as the ones on the garment already, because you are a person with a punch or a pair of pliers. You are not a machine and with really awesome eyelets that are probably actually some kind of much higher quality metal. So, that having been said, I'll just scoot this down so you can see. Oh, there we go. Okay, now, I have one strap to go. Now, as you can see, I took a silver Sharpie marker. Where to go? Where are you? Well, here it is. I used a silver Sharpie marker and just made little dots like so. And I wanted to keep them. I wanted to keep the first one about 1 inch away apart from this one here, because as you can see, these are roughly 1 inch apart. And I wanted to go ahead and add another one just for looks to go here, and also in case I do in fact decide I want it to be a little bit more snug, I can make it a little bit more snug, but I can't stand that blank area there. That drives me nuts. So I went ahead and installed extras. So you make your dots with your Sharpie marker. You take your appropriate attachments on your hole punch. In this case, this is what mine looks like when it's got its correct attachments on it to punch a specific size hole for my little eyelets. And so what you want to do is you want to hold them next to your fabric with the cone shape pointed down. So if you're right-handed, basically what you'll do is you'll line up your little cone with your little dot, and once you have the dot covered up with the tip of the cone, you'll squeeze, squeeze, give it a little twist, and ta-da! You just punched a hole. And do the same thing with the other one. And wiggle it just to make sure it's free. And then what you want to do afterwards, since this is actually hollow in the back, look, this is where the eyelet pieces, the pieces of the little holes go, actually. And you want to keep that clean and clear. Otherwise, it's going to get clogged up and nasty and funky, and it won't be any good. There we go. Oh, that still didn't get it clean. Oh, there it goes. Come on. Come out. And however many layers of fabric you have, that's how many little pieces should fall out. Okay, now that I've punched my little holes, what next? Well, as you can see, the eyelet has a pretty side, and a side that's going to be crunched and curled. The side that's going to be crunched and curled, if you're using cheap-ass eyelets like I have, is going to look kind of ugly. So you're going to want to put it so that it will only show on the back side of your fabric. Like so. So you take your little piece here. I'm trying to get that so you can see it. There we go. So you want to push it, the pretty side, to be showing on the front. So you push it in like that. Okay. Flip your fabric over. And you can see the other side. It should be showing through just fine. And you want to press the fabric down around it. Then you're going to take your eyelet pliers. You're going to put this little prong piece in from the pretty side. You're going to let it kind of settle in its grip, and then squeeze, 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 squeeze. And ta-da! You've just installed an eyelet. And there's what the back looks like. See how it's a little funky looking? So, next we're going to go ahead and do the final remaining eyelet hole. Now watch this be the one where some kind of terrible catastrophe happens and I end up going, oh fuck this, and just buying another corset, but oh well. Such is life. Alright, get it on there just right. And squeeze, and you do have to be kind of strong to do this. You make sure you squeeze really good and hard so that your eyelet goes on all the way. Otherwise it's going to fall off, or it's just not going to be, it's not going to be squeezed down all the way in the back. It'll look really, really funky looking, and you don't want that. So this little project is actually complete now, and always pick up your little messes as you make them so that you're not working in an area that is a pigsty. For me, that means picking up the little black pieces that came out of the back of this tool. There it is. There you can see it. So, and then you also want to actually test your eyelets to make sure the buckle prong, the little thing, can go in. Yep, 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 and yep. And how about that? Not bad at all. So you can see that. And here I am again. So that is pretty much how you use a pair of eyelet pliers or eyelet applicators or eyelet installers, whatever, to put eyelets into material. And you don't necessarily have to work with vinyl or faux leather. It can be just about anything. And in some cases you'll need to cut a hole manually instead of punching one, like if it's a real thin like quilting fabric or something like that. Sometimes that thing doesn't always work on all materials, so you'll need one of these guys, an X-Acto knife. These things actually can be rather dangerous. If you've never used one before, always practice on something with it first. It's extremely sharp, but it gets the job done. So, and I guess that concludes this video. So, I hope you enjoyed what you just saw. I hope it was informative, and I hope that you go forth and pursue projects and art and whatnot. And you'll have to forgive my mellow attitude. I'm actually rather recovering. I'm recovering from being sick, and I'm somewhat sedated because I'm medicated right now. So, anyway, be sure to like and share, subscribe to my channel, and also if you have questions for Q&A Sunday, make sure you put the questions in the comment section below. So, I guess I'm gonna shut up now. So, thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.